preference for any kind of breath. We simply want to feel the texture of it intimately, wherever the touch is felt most clearly. Just gathering our attention and sustaining it. Just allowing all the wholesome factors that naturally arise when our attention is gathered and sustained. The byproducts being comfort, interest, one-pointedness, all happening organically through simply feeling life right where it touches us. Just this moment, just this breath, just this body sitting and touching. Just letting the truth of our experience be welcomed, pleasant or unpleasant, or somewhere in between. Welcoming each presently arising sensation of breath or other sensation, sound, moods, thoughts. Just noticing, doing nothing about the experience being noticed, not undoing, not fixing, just being aware, supported by the touch of the breath. Just this. It's inevitable that many thoughts will come, and sometimes mindfulness does not rise up to simply acknowledge and notice thinking. And when mindfulness doesn't arise to notice that, mind by its nature enters into an imaginary universe. We call that lost in thought. But inevitably, especially if we encourage this quality of mindful attention, this noticing, we'll wake up to where we are. We'll realize we've been lost in thought. This is just mindfulness coming back online. We appreciate that. Relax, open to the truth that we've been dreaming, open to the truth that we are now awake, in support of remaining anchored to reality. We feel our body, feel our breath, just the touch sensation of this breath, of this moment. Nothing extra, no strain, no tension, just being aware with a soft and alert attention, a gentle, precise quality in our mind. Clear comprehension of just this experience. Allow yourself to be secluded in the dark, in the body, in the breath. Stepping outside of the idea of time into just immediate and direct experience. Just being aware with no other agenda other than to experience the truth of what's happening. Pleasant, unpleasant. Yes. Making room for what's actually here. If it's just the breath, just this breath. If it's a sensation, it's a sensation. If it's a sound, just a sound. If it's a thought, just a thought. If it's a mood, just a mood. Just knowing a presently arising experience as it is. And seeing what happens. And then back to the breath, back to the body. Remembering that mindfulness has no agenda other than to know, to notice. Not trying to solve any problems, fix anything, figure anything out, do anything, or undo anything, just knowing a presently arising experience. Because it has no agenda in time, every moment is fresh, a new beginning. Can always begin again. Is there awareness? What is being known right now? What is the quality of the mind that is knowing? Is it open and welcoming? Is it tight, resistant, contentious? And just notice. Nothing to do about these. They self-correct. Just be aware, supported by the body and breath. Just this moment. Experiencing directly the touch of the breath, sinking into it, sticking to it, spreading out all around it, not missing any part of it. Not losing touch with body and breath. Very nice to open my eyes and see you. Know you're here. Nice sitting with you. I know time is one of those strange concepts that has a high level of relativity. Sometimes these sittings that last about 40 minutes, they seem interminably long, and other times they're like a blink. Tonight was one of those blink nights where it felt very short. And I have no idea why, other than typically when the experience is predominantly unpleasant, it seems like time elongates. It feels like a minute feels like an hour. And when the experience is pleasant, an hour feels like a minute. But this is all perception, and our perception alters a lot according to whether things are pleasant or unpleasant. That's the only thing I can think of, but we'll leave it in the realm of mystery. But it did go fast, and I have to say that I wanted to continue sitting, but it was that time. And then there's always the consideration when we drop into the silence like that. One of the occupational hazards is that I've traveled to retreat centers where I see things posted on the walls of retreat centers, and one of them said, "Before you speak, consider whether your words will be an improvement on the silence." And that also adds to the sense of wanting to just keep practicing and not speak. But I want to hear from you. And while it's fresh, I want to hear if there is anything that you noticed during the sitting, any questions that came up about your practice, comments, descriptions. And as always, I'd like to encourage you to feel free. Part of the generosity of supporting Sangha, not just receiving support, but offering support, is to be willing to confess our delusions, because our question will likely be of some use to someone else. So I want to feel free, and there's something very liberating about just telling how it is, which will be tonight's topic, I think. Any comments, questions, topics that emerge from the sitting? You can use the raised hand function, or just raise your hand if no one lights up the little hand, and I'll call on you, and maybe Howie G will help me pick someone if I don't see you. Rebecca, glad you're with us, and please feel free, and thanks for breaking the ice.
Thank you. I don't usually struggle with world events, at least not as much as I used to. But this particular time period, I've been really upset about Minneapolis. I think mostly because Alex Peretti was he was gunned down like 8 blocks from where I used to live in Minneapolis, and so I thought that was why I was particularly struck by this week's events. But now during the sit, I kind of got very emotional because I realized that like both people that I've had a pretty strong reaction to, they were like Renee Good was waving cars by. It's a very Minnesota thing to do. Unlike in San Francisco where we, honk and call people names and things. And Alex was, saving he went over to help a woman that had fallen down. That's also a very Minnesotan thing to do. And so during the sit, I kind of was reflecting on just just how fearful I am that part of that Minnesota nice will just kind of melt away. And I really try to keep things in perspective, but I was really struggling with this sit just because of that realization. So,
Well, thank you for giving voice to what's on many people's minds right now. If we're well informed, and it's almost impossible not to be just horrified, heartbroken, a little fearful, concerned. Every the whole realm of emotion. So thanks for speaking to that. And as far as our practice goes, it's to feel it. It's not, and hopefully not to compound the suffering. So, to feel it through your body so that it actually metabolizes, and so that you continue to be available with your Minnesota nice, or Minneapolis nice, Minnesota nice. Uh, yeah. Yeah, beautiful culture in Minneapolis and Minnesota. I'm from Nebraska, so I've taught retreats in Minnesota, and what they say is true. Anyway, glad you're here. Glad you got to create a little space for that, for your heartbreak. Eileen, please feel free.
I don't have much to say except that when I was doing DEI work all around the country, Minneapolis was my favorite place. It was the most yummy. So I'm feeling it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah. We're all Minnesotans right now. That's all we can say. They don't exist apart from us. Noemi, please feel free.
Yes. Um, it's,
I see your hand, I don't see you.
oh, okay. Oh, there. You see me now?
I do.
Okay. I cover my camera when I'm not on. Um, I also have been feeling very angry and sad, and I'm with that. And I'm really think it is a wake up call. And there are many people whose names we don't know who have been killed by ICE.
Yes, the disappeared.
And not only the disappeared, there was a man in LA named Keith Porter who was killed by a off-duty ICE person, and we don't remember him. People could say it differently. It was New Year's Eve, and I don't know why people do this, but they shoot off their guns. And he didn't hit anyone. It was about whatever, why people do that. I don't know, but an off-duty ICE man, ICE officer lived in the same complex he did. And he came out and found Keith, and he shot him dead. And unfortunately, his name should be along with good and pretty.
Pretty, yeah.
And and others. And you know, he's a black. He was a black man, so he didn't. You know, and it's sad we don't know many names.
No. Well,
Um,
thank you for bringing his name
I I
to
just
us.
I really feel for, of course, Good and Alex,
Yeah,
and um, I also know that for people of color, it is not it is not all that surprising or unusual. Um,
yes,
go back to George Floyd, or even before that, Rodney King.
yeah. Trayvon Martin, the whole retinue. Yes.
So I just want to
Oh,
remember
yeah.
that
Thank you.
it's I'm sorry to be on my soapbox, but I think
No
that
worries. No, this is what's in our hearts. This is what's on our minds.
and that's
And
on
yeah,
my mind.
and it's a fine, on one hand, this is we, we want Mission Dharma to be a place of refuge, a kind of a little place of seclusion in the middle of the storm, but there, we have permeable boundaries. What's inside and outside are not separate. So thank you. Mary, please, last but not least. And also anybody who would like to, who doesn't often speak up, feel free, especially anything related to your practice tonight as well. Mary, please.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention they've been showing on social media about 9 other people who were killed, to remember them as well. And they were, I think there was one woman and one black man, and the rest are all Hispanic men, about 9 people. But I wanted to mention it has been a very rough week, and I don't think anybody that spoke is alone. I mean, it has been gut wrenching, and I think most people are really feeling it, or at least
Oh, yeah.
everyone. It's been very hard to bear. It's very painful. So you're not alone. Uh, oh, there was something else I was going to say. I kind of lost it now, but oh, I know that I did feel the meditation went quickly too tonight, but I thought it was because like this week was so exhausting and difficult that like we really needed it. It was like we need more and more. I'm very grateful to be here with everyone. I think everyone here probably feels the same. Thank you. It's
Thank
really a
you.
refuge, the Sangha. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Yeah, we definitely need it. This is how I was thinking today, in the middle of, in between my moments of heartbreak, like everyone else, I was, reflecting on the Dharma, since because I knew Tuesday night was coming, and this line kept going through, that my daughter used to say, and not uncommon, little kids in long road trips, they say, "Are we there yet?" Or "Are we there yet?" And repeating it over and over and over again. And so I chuckled, and I was thinking that this is, I used to just attribute that to a young person, who are bored or just letting off steam. Are we there yet? But then I realized that we haven't changed at all in that regard. We're still in our own minds saying, "Are we there yet?" And associating our our happiness with how things turn out. Even though, of course, we wish that things were different, we're not as well practiced at things as they are. And so just hearing people voice what you're experiencing, what's actually happening, is in a way, it's, and this re-regulation of our nervous system through just stopping, in a way, it's an antidote to this, are we there yet? We stop postponing our relief until the doom scrolling ends, or till we're exhausted. We stop waiting for the change in our administration. It will come, but we make a decision to, because we know the good news is that there is peace possible, and the peace may come through the heartbreak, through our exhaustion, through whatever it is. But if we feel it, the way out is in. The cure, as Rumi put it, the cure for pain is in the pain. And we find our balance. Another thing that I was thinking about today, and in a different atmosphere, I would focus on something different about the passage that I was thinking about today, because it has many different elements in it. And it was the conversation that I had that was very meaningful with the teacher of Dipama, Anagarika Munindra, who was another one of my teachers. When I spent a lot of time with Munindraji, and in fact, I functioned or served as his attendant, and just followed him around and gave him whatever he needed. I was kind of like his sidekick for a retreat period in the Southern California desert back in the very early 1980s. And after I spent a lot of time with him, and we saw the way each other operated, and I just marveled at this incredible person. Again, I recommend that you read the life of Munindra, Anagarika Munindra, who was a teacher of Joseph Goldstein. But when we were about to part, he looked at me very intently. And I've told this story here at Mission Dharma many times, but I've often focused on another element of this story. But he said to me, he used the phrasing, may you truly be happy. Now, this isn't a day that you would associate with happiness. This isn't a time that we would often associate with happiness. But that line in that passage, may you truly be happy, the word true, truly, and in the Buddhist teaching, the highest happiness is peace. But the happiness of peace comes from what true happiness is seeing things, being with things, opening to life just as it is. And the teachings start with the four ennobling truths. The truth, if you are born, if you are one of us, there is stress. There are things that are hard to bear. And there's a prescription for dealing with it. This must be welcomed. We must open to the truth that this is not an aberration, but this is what human beings experience. And so I want to just bounce around a little bit, because once I got this word truly and truth in my mind, I shouldn't take you on the journey through my mental machinations, but I'm going to, since I have the floor. But into my mind came the chant that's done every day in monasteries. And I've chanted virtually every day of my long practice periods. And it's basically in Pali, it goes Anicca Vada Sankara Upaduaya Dhammino Upakitua Niruchanti Desang Upasamo Sukho. And basically it means, and I'll chant the, so you can learn it. All things are impermanent. They arise and they pass away. To be in harmony with this truth brings great happiness. So you could substitute, all things are, stress arises in life. To be in harmony with this truth brings some happiness, brings the happiness of peace. When we are not in contention with reality, there is a capacity that we have, even here on Tuesday night, even in the midst of so much sorrow, we have the capacity for peace. If we open to it, the truth of the way things are. Another line that I love, that is kind of the essence of Vipassana meditation, is this line, Yata Bhuta Jnanasa, knowledge and vision of things as they are. The whole point of our practice is not to fix, it's not to figure out, it's not to solve, it's not to reach the end of the rainbow. It's not about when we get there. It's about knowledge and vision of things as they are right now. And it is through that truth of the way things are that we find relief. And the second ennobling truth is that what keeps us from that true happiness, the happiness of peace, what keeps us from feeling whole, complete, enough, is the chronic desire, being caught in the chronic desire for things to be otherwise. If we notice the desire for things to be otherwise, of course we will want things to be otherwise in our world right now. But if we get caught in that and have our hearts contracted in a state of suspended relief, we walk around compounding the heartbreak and the frustration with a state of fight, flight, and freeze. We're in a state of contraction. So the prescription for dealing with the cause of what causes us to be in contention with the truth of the way things are is this quality of craving. And this must be released. And how do we release this tight fist of grasping of what we would rather have in this world of so much stress? All manner of stress, whether we like it or not. What relieves us of the craving for it to be otherwise? What is just seeing it as it is. I have people in my life because I function in the role of support for, and I have people in my life that, and I'm not always sure, there's a certain point where if somebody can just tell the truth of the way they're experiencing things, they feel a little better. But sometimes the truth of the way they're feeling is being shared with an energy, a quality of it should be otherwise. It should be otherwise. And that should be otherwise. My mom, or who was it? My mom, or called it woulda, shoulda, coulda. Should have been. That state of mind is a recipe, in a sense, for feeling victimized. And victimized by the circumstances that we find ourselves in. And I remember reading Viktor Frankl's book, Man's Search for Meaning. I'm sure many people, it was kind of standard reading for many people. And he was in a Holocaust. He wrote the book while he was in a concentration camp. And we are in the midst of a country that now has concentration camps. But a little bit like Bob Marley, who said, emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our mind. He says, you can take away my physical freedom, but you can't take away the freedom in my mind. And that's what Viktor Frankl emphasized, that they could kill him, they could incarcerate him, but they couldn't take his freedom to think, his freedom to reflect, and as I say this, I think of the line from Byron Katie, a wonderful teacher, who says, and you never want to take this as an absolute because there are so many people being victimized right now. There are real victims in this world. But she says in terms of working with our minds, there are no victims, only volunteers. And part of understanding the Dharma, seeing the Dharma, is seeing the way that we are volunteering our well-being by thinking things should be otherwise. Sorry, I got a little distracted by the chat, but thank you, Eileen. I'll get to it later. So getting back to in harmony with the truth, it's the truth of how, the willingness to see how is it that I am in my own way volunteering my sense of well-being. What am I thinking about repeatedly? Because there's a certain point where opening to the world naturally leads to lots of thoughts about it. But if I keep thinking about it, I'm actually volunteering my well-being. I'm incarnating again and again as someone who's in distress. And that part is very optional. And so that leads to the third ennobling truth. There is a cessation of the causes of being in contention with reality. The cause being chronically wanting things to be otherwise. Compounding our stress by getting caught in attachment to our thoughts, our feelings, our desires. There is an end to that, and this must be realized. How do we realize this? By noticing, just like Deepa Ma, who I've been sharing the last few weeks, notice that most of our suffering individually, I don't mean collectively, most of our suffering individually is because of the way we think and is following our thoughts. That's why that practice cuts through and notice this is thinking. This is a thought. A thought of myself is not myself. A thought of the world is not the world. Or as Munindraji would say, a thought of your mother is not your mother. This must be realized through cultivating the fourth ennobling truth, which is the path, the Noble Eightfold Path that includes you being inspired right now by being in the face of cruelty and greed and hatred and ignorance, cultivating the wise action, bringing that moment to moment attention to your words, internal and external, how you think, whether or not your thinking and your words internally and externally are causing you stress and others who have to live around you. Thinking whether your day-to-day habits are how they're affecting our planet, our resources, what you're putting in your body, all those things. Cultivating wise action, wise speech, wise livelihood, so that our life and our actions are in harmony with what brings well-being and happiness. The middle part of the Eightfold Path, training our attention to cultivate what's wholesome and helpful, to cultivate the conditions that lead to calm. From the moment we wake up till the moment we go to bed. And then cultivating wise understanding of these four ennobling truths. And having every day the word truth, being true to ourselves, telling the truth, being in harmony with the truth, truth of the way it is. Now they chant about the truth of impermanence, but the other truth that it's important to be in harmony with is that nothing whatsoever, because it's changing and because everything that we mistakenly put our faith in as myself, body, moods, thoughts, if we put misplaced faith in these things that are changing, we create an identity around things that cannot give us any security. We wander around in a chronic state of insecurity. No wonder the whole world right now is a manifestation of trying to find identity. Who's right? Who's wrong? Who's above? Who's below? Who's equal? That's a whole other conversation. But to be in harmony with the truth that nothing that we cling to and identify with is really myself. My career has a beginning and end, shelf life. This body, wealth, status, all of it, changing conditions, nothing can be clung to as I or mine. Whoever realizes this truth, whoever practices it, whoever lives by it, has heard the entire teaching of liberation. Nothing whatsoever should be clung to as myself. So to be in harmony with the truth, we have to look carefully at what is that self that we are defending, protecting, building up, identifying with. What is that? And when not finding anything, we relax. Keep quiet. May you truly be happy. May you find the truth of the way things are. Or may you live in harmony with the truth. Because it's this, just to go a little bit more, it is my hunches, my experiences, is that it's getting caught in our contentiousness with reality that actually prevents us from getting out there and being one of the many millions that are actually turning the tide right now. I have some confidence that the whole country's, the whole world's version of Minneapolis or Minnesota nice is it's a powerful force, and it's getting stronger and stronger every day. And so to really be able to unleash our love, we can't be caught in our reactivity. We have to be able to just let our heartbreak and everything move through us like changing weather. That's what our practice is. It's both love, and it's the wisdom to see that it's all changing conditions. So may we all be truly happy. May we be freed to love this world, the suffering world, with everything we have. And may we remember that peace is possible in every moment, and not wait until we get there. So let's just sit for a moment, quiet moment. I'll just read you a couple words from J. Krishnamurti. Only when the mind is still, tranquil, not expecting or grasping or resisting a single thing, it is possible then to see what's true. And it is the truth that liberates, not our effort to be free. It is the truth that liberates, not our effort to be free. Anyway, thank you for your attention. Just to hang on just for a few moments. Let Howie G share any announcements if you have any. And then unmute and say goodnight to each other.
Hi everyone. I just in the chat, those many of you who are watching tonight, there are two things I placed in the chat. One is an announcements about 2 retreats that Howie has coming up. Neither of them are local, but you need to know, you may want to know about them. They're in today's mailer, and also if you click on them, you can get more information. One's in Massachusetts.
Oh yeah, that one's full, sorry.
Oh gosh. And the other one's in BC, in Vancouver, BC.
That one probably has space.
That is, well, I'm glad it's full for you, Howie. And the other thing is, and there's a good number of folks here tonight, I know. So I want to remind everybody about Donna. Donna is what's keeping this going. Donna is the generosity of spirit for the Dharma, for the teachers, for the Sangha. It's a way we can share in providing for our Sangha. and for the teachers. So one easy way, if you can afford it, is to send a contribution. It's here in the chat, and it's also in the, pardon my voice tonight, it's also in the mailer that you got in the email. So thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you, Howie G, and thank you all in advance for your support. And now I'd like to invite you to unmute and say goodnight to each other, just so you hear each other's voices. You're not alone.
Bye, Howie. Thank you very much.
Good
night.
So grateful
Thank you.
for all of you.
Thank you.
Faith.
Night, Howie.
Good night.
Sweet dreams.
Good night.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Sleep, dreamless sleep, deep sleep.
Good.
Okay, great to be with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Howie.